The trees. It was the trees. When we drove up, I was like, "The trees. The trees are gorgeous." Like, it just feels like you're not in LA, but you're so close to everything that it was really, like just felt like you were in the woods. My name is Carly Mass. We bought a home in January of 2024, so that's when we were introduced to Altadena. We lived in Los Feliz for, like, 20 years, and we decided we were gonna look somewhere else, and we bought a home. I didn't really know even that Altadena existed before we started looking for a house, and as we were on the search, we found Altadena, and I was like, "It's like the mountains." Like, it's the mountains in LA, so that's kinda how we discovered it. I remember the night of the fire, we were watching the news, the Palisades fires, that's what we were, like, concerned about, and it was super windy that day. The morning of the fire was really the craziest windy day I've ever experienced, and I remember our neighbor saying, "Hey, it gets really windy up here, and so sometimes they'll turn the power off, so just, like, be prepared." And so we got, like, some announcements that they might be turning off the power, so we were just like, "We'll lose power, like, probably tonight." My husband's phone rang, and it was our real estate agent who is our friend and helped us buy the house, and she's like, "There's a fire in Eaton Canyon." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" And she's like, "There's a fire in your neighborhood." And I turned around to, like, walk out, and you could see just glowing orange on the hill behind us, and I was like, "There's a like, there's a fire." So we made the decision right then and there that we were gonna pack up, get our dog, get the kids, and just pack a bag for the night, and it never occurred to me that we wouldn't be back. I didn't bring anything, we didn't bring anything. I It never occurred to me that it was possible that it would come into the neighborhood and that we would be losing our house. Never once. The only thing I grabbed, just because I was like, just in case, I grabbed, like, one little folder that I keep my kids' birth certificates in, and that was it. And then I felt really bad because my son, it was just after Christmas, so they had all of their new stuff, and my son's like, "Can I bring my guitars?" And for some reason, obviously because we didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal, we only took one car. We have three cars. I have a car, my husband has a car, and my son has a car, and we all squeezed into one car with the dog. So I was like, "We don't have room. You don't need it. We're going to be back." And plus, I was like, it was in the back of my mind there was a fire, but I didn't want to panic the kids. So I was like, "We're going to be back. Like, don't panic. Don't grab a bunch of stuff. Like, we'll be fine." So we left everything. Like, there nothing. I didn't And then we left the two cars. So we lost two cars and basically everything my husband, myself, and my children owned. We got to my sister's house. So it was about 2 hours later. We got to my sister's house. I went to take a shower, and an old neighbor who lived in Los Feliz next to us, her husband is a plumber. And she's like, "How are you doing? How is your house?" And I said, "I don't know. Like, I don't know again." She's like, "My husband's going up to turn off gas lines. Do you want him to check?" And I was like, "Yes, please." I took a shower, got out of the shower. As I was getting out of the shower, my phone dinged. I picked it up and I looked, and it's a video that he's recording from his truck driving through the neighborhood. And he's pulling up Santa Anita and turning right on Pine. And I would have never recognized it. The only reason why I knew it was the street because I saw the street sign, and it was nothing. And that's when I knew it's gone. Like, I saw, I'm sorry, I saw like nothing, and it was like orange and smoky and just looked like a bomb went off. And his camera was like panning, and there was nothing on the street, like nothing. And so he drove down the street, and I saw my fireplace, which was the only thing that was left. And then I lost it. Like, I just lost it because I think at that point I still was like, "It's fine. Like, it's gonna be fine." And then when I saw that, obviously it's not fine. And then I was like, "I have to tell my kids. Like, how do I tell my kids?" So I was in the bathroom by myself, and at that point I was the only person who knew. And I'm like, "Now I have to tell everybody." And I just broke down. I just was crying, obviously, really hard. And I called my mom, and she didn't answer. And then I called my sister because she was at work that day. And she's like, "I'm coming home." And I just said, "It's gone." I just remember picking up the phone going, "It's gone." And she's like, "No, no, it's not." I'm like, "It's gone." She's like, "How do you know?" I'm like, "I saw it." And she's like, I'll be there in 5 minutes. And so she came back from work, and that was it. And then I texted my husband the video from the bathroom because I didn't want to scare my kids. And so I was like, I need to get it together. But I texted him the video. And then that was basically how I found out. Um, we didn't come back for a long time. I mean, I saw it. I feel like if I hadn't seen the video, I might be inclined to try to come up and see it with my own two eyes. But since I saw the video, I was like, I know what's there. I don't need to drive through there. So it was just kind of surreal. Like we were just in kind of problem solving mode. My husband is like a doer. Like if he doesn't know, like if he feels panicked or like he's just going to start doing things. So he's like, okay, well, we're going to rebuild, and I'm calling our contractor, and he was just like in go mode. Like literally the day or two after the fire, he was like, okay, we need to start thinking about floor plans. And I was just like, I'm not thinking about anything. Like I'm not thinking about anything. So he was in like, we're going to fix it mode to, I think I was just kind of like digesting, and it took me a while to kind of take it all in. But the next thing was like, where are we going to live? And that period of time, the time where like we stayed, so a beautiful woman in Eagle Rock rented us her home for free for 3 weeks. So we found it on Airbnb to get us through to like finding a place. And she found out that we were victims of the fire and didn't charge us. She was like the kindest person. And she had shared with me that she had a home in New Jersey that she lost in the Hurricane Sandy. So she was like, it was her second home, but she's like, still like the loss of a home, I completely understand. And so she was just, I mean, she was lovely. And so we had 3 weeks to kind of like have a place, figure out what we were going to do. And we wanted to stay close to my daughter's school and obviously work and everything. So we rented a place in Glendale. Oh, the reason that we chose to stay and rebuild, and I think it probably is the case for a lot of people, is like financially, you have to. I think the people who end up leaving are people who didn't have a mortgage. So you aren't tied to your property. You can leave, you sell the lot, and you have insurance money and you can leave. If you are a newer resident who has a home loan, you owe that loan. Like, what are you going to do? What am I going to sell an empty lot and sell it for a third of what I owe? And then I'm upside down. So I think that was obviously the biggest. There was no way that we had renovated the house. So not only do we owe a mortgage on the home, but I just dumped a bunch of my own personal money into a home to rebuild that if I walk away is gone. So there really financially was no other choice. It was going to happen. But also like, I didn't want to go anywhere else. I don't want to leave LA for sure. I'm not leaving Los Angeles. And that was the choice. Our insurance company has been a dream. Like, given all the things that could be a challenge, we really had none of them. And I think that's probably why we're one of the first homes rebuilt, is because everything taken into account has been pretty smooth. And I have no complaints with how the city handled at least my rebuilding process, the permitting, the people helping. My husband like lived at the permitting office. He was there like every day, and everyone was helpful, and everything was smooth and expedited. So as far as that, I have no complaints. My husband did it all, to be honest. Like he's been like amazing. He handled everything. I didn't have the bandwidth. Like I was like, I pick stuff. Basically, he's like, pick it. And I'm like, and I'll do it. I got to do the fun part, honestly. But he was the one who was like, luckily we had done a renovation and we've done a flip before. So we have people that we know. We have a contractor. We have a team of people. So that was a huge gift because we didn't have to worry about any of that. But I think about people who don't know how to do it, who haven't experienced it before, who's starting from scratch, don't know who to trust. It's a lot. And I don't know, like if my husband wasn't here and it was me, I wouldn't be sitting in this house today. There's no way. There's just no way. Wouldn't even know where to begin. I wouldn't be able to go to I'd be working. Like, I don't know how people are multitasking, like with their families and just trying to survive and taking on a build. And I think for a lot of people, financially, you have to take on a lot of it because, based on your insurance, based on like what kind of policy you have, and some of them are outdated, you're not getting enough money to do the things that you want to do or even to compare to what you had. And so you have to scrimp and you have to be very involved and you have to be part of the process. And it's a lot. It is a full-time job every day, all day, checking in, making sure everyone's where they need to be. You have what you need, that A plus B equals C, and that you have all those ducks lined up. So it's it's a lot. And I don't know. I can see why people haven't even started. There's some people who haven't even submitted their permits yet because they just can't figure out, how am I going to do it. I think that a lot of people need help. I think especially the older folks who, like, if I was them and I was in my 70s and this is supposed to be the time in your life where you're relaxing and retiring, and now you have to figure out how to do this when you may not have internet access or you're not savvy to processes or just even like the ability to get places back and forth. Like, I don't know how they're doing it. I don't know. I don't know. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people who are pretending to help and they're not, or they're just there to, like, you know take some money from people. And so that's unfortunate. I've heard some stories from people who have given money to contractors who disappear, architects who are lagging and taking forever. So I think that, unfortunately, with situations like this, there's always people who are going to take advantage. um, and I know that there's people who need help, who I don't know where they're going or who they're asking. My husband is a mortgage broker. Um, so that's his profession, but he's renovated our old home in Los Feliz. So he's done it. We bought a house in Altadena to flip as a project that was kind of like his side job, is like doing flips. And so he's pretty well versed at this point with construction and rebuilding. So he's given everyone his number, and he's like, anything you need, give me a call. He's helped a few people on the street like navigate permitting processes. Now that the house is done, like, you can tell he's got itchy fingers and like he doesn't know what to do because he was here all day every day and it was like his life for this year and 2 months. Now that it's done, he's like, what am I going to do? Like, what am I going to do with all my time? So I would imagine that he'll get busy with something else like that soon. I miss the trees. I miss the trees. We had, I mean, luckily we still have some, and I forget because in my mind there's nothing. Like, in my mind when I think about it, I'm like, everything's gone. And we still were lucky. We still have trees, but we had the most. I mean, there's giant, huge old trees. That was my favorite part of the neighborhood, and just knowing that, like, it'll never be like that again. That's the saddest. Like, I was more sad about the trees than my house because I'm like, I can rebuild a house. I can't get 100-year-old tree back. Like, I just can't do it. What I see for the future of Altadena is, I think it's going to take time, but I'm really hopeful, and I think that I've learned that so many people really love this neighborhood, and I think that they're committed to doing what it takes to get it back. And so I'm excited to see what happens. Um, I just can't wait to have more neighbors. Like, every time I see a foundation being poured or a construction banner going up, I get like super excited. So I'm just really hopeful. Like, I know that it's going to be back. It might take 5 years, 10 years, but I think that it's going to happen. And it'll be interesting to be part of it and to see it. But I think it's a really special place, and I think that eventually it'll be better than it was. I will tell you that throughout this whole experience, the silver lining to all of it was how much, like, my faith in humanity has been restored. Um, with everything going on politically, and just the world can be a really ugly place sometimes. The amount of love and support that I got from people I didn't even know, people I knew 20 years ago, people that my husband went to college with who knew someone who knew someone who were reaching out and like, whatever you need. And that was honestly the probably the thing that made us all get through it, was just like how beautiful people can be.